Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast, where you get to choose, change and take action to create a different today and a different future. These are my stories of choice, change and action, along with the phenomenal guests I have on here. From a really young age, I've always desired to create a change in the world. The planet has been a constant inspiration to me, and Access Consciousness has shown me the tools to know that anything is possible. And I keep choosing. What are you going to choose? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Choice, Change and Action podcast. So you're with me again, your host, Simone Milasas. And don't forget, you can find us on YouTube as well if you are just listening to this. And today I have an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, and her name is Junaline. I'm going to let you say your last name, Junaline. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Banez-Moussi.
you. Sure. Banez-Moussi. Yes, that's it. 2 names.
All right, there you go. Yeah. It's quite the lengthy name there, and quite the quite an incredible story. I think I pinged Junaline and said, hey, can I do a podcast with you, because I see so many people who complain about stuff and always look at why they can't do something or why something's not working out, or they have doubt, etc., and all of this sort of stuff. And so let me ask you a question then. Can you give all of the listeners just a brief description of where you're based and what you're doing?
Yeah. So I'm actually a Canadian person living and working in Lebanon, in Beirut, Lebanon. So I've been a CF in the country, here in the Middle East, actually since, I don't know, 2014. And I believe I was the first CF in the Middle East in 2014. Because when I said that to Gary and Dane in Venice, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is the first person," and so that was really exciting. And since then, I just started doing many things in the country, even in the Middle East, bringing bars to Jordan, bringing the first bars facilitator in Syria. So it's like, even though there's so many things going on in this place, in this part of the world, it's like something that for me, I, why stop creating? And I don't know if anybody knows what's going on in Lebanon in these days. We had financial crisis. We had, like, the banks took our money. We had a revolution in 2019. We had a port explosion in 2020. And despite of all of that, it's like, it's easy to say, okay, no, this is not, I can't do anything. But I have a different point of view about it. I've always had, and thank you for the access tools to not stop creating, to actually outcreate this reality.
Yeah.
Because if I bought this reality, I would not be a CF anymore. I would not do anything anymore. It's easy to buy people's drama and traumas and so many things like that. But I just kept, like, look, we can outcreate this reality. We can do something about it. And so I was giving a lot of sessions despite of what was going on in Lebanon, or what still is going on in Lebanon, the prices, the and like giving them for like this amount of money. And yeah, so it's for me, it was like, why buy this reality? Why buy this, whatever people are living? We can do something better. We can do something greater. And despite of all of this, whatever people would say, uh, crisis, an issue, problem, we had so many things going on in Lebanon: gasoline crisis, electricity, internet, fuel, whatever. But I kept giving classes no matter what, because it's like, why would I let all these things stop me? So
I
that's
love
until
that. And
now.
that's
This is
why,
what I'm doing. Yeah,
yeah, that's why I actually asked you to come on, because I was like, God, in the face of everything that's going on in Beirut, Lebanon, it's like you're still creating no matter
yeah,
what. And I am
yeah.
so grateful for that. And wanted to chat to you about that, etc. So here's what are you doing in Lebanon? I mean, like, why did you move to Beirut, Lebanon?
Well, my husband is Lebanese.
Okay. a good start. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah,
Canadian, he's
well, it's a
Lebanese.
good
Okay.
so but before that, actually, I actually left Canada a long time ago. I was an English teacher before. I lived in Japan, I lived in Oman, and then I decided to become a life coach, and then that's how I met my husband, who's a Lebanese, and then he invited me to move to Lebanon, and that's how it all started, and that's why I've been living here. I've chosen to live here, not going back to Canada, or not go, like anything like that, because it's actually a great country despite of all whatever is going on. It's such a beautiful country. It's got a great energy, and I really invite everybody to come visit. It's so beautiful. I've become like the ambassador of Lebanon. I've always invited people to come here. It's this beautiful country in the Middle East. It's very small. It's between Israel and Syria, and it's just full of beautiful, amazing nature. And it's an old civilization, like the Phoenicians started in Byblos, Lebanon, and we have like the largest Roman um, ruins outside of Rome, and it's called in Baalbek. So you're welcome to come and visit. Yeah.
Wow,
So
I
I
did
love
not
it. I
know
love
that.
it here.
Yeah. We have a lot
Yes,
of
yes.
Lebanese here in
I'll show you.
Australia, actually. Yeah. Sorry, say that
Yeah, they're
again.
everywhere.
Yeah, they
No, I said
are. They
Lebanese
are.
people are everywhere. Yes. And so are
Like
Filipinos too.
Australia.
I'm also Filipino at the same time.
Right. Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So tell me about, I would like to ask you, what are some of the tools that you've used in order to still keep creating no matter what is going on around you? Like, okay, something that pinged when you said the governments took the money, like took the finance. What happened there, and how did you guys deal with that?
Oh wow, yeah. Actually, in that was actually the start of the revolution. There was a revolution. It was like protesting in 2019, just before the lockdown. Um,
Hmm.
the financial crisis hit. It was like we had a hyperinflation, and actually at that time, Lebanon was really bankrupt as a country. And so, what to do? They took the money, our monies in the bank. We could not access them. Imagine that. And even like the Lebanese
Wow.
pound, which is the currency, like it's devaluated like what now? I don't know, 90%. It's just it's really sad. And then of course the lockdown happened, the corona, the COVID happened for
Mm.
2 years. And then the Port Beirut explosion, which is the source of, I don't know, a lot of business also for the country.
Yeah.
And it's like it had the magnitude of the, I don't know, the bombing of Hiroshima or Nagasaki or something like that, and it destroyed Beirut. And and even though those things happen, I always had hope to live here and to change this. And what would it take to change this? Not like, oh, let's leave the country, let's move to Canada or go back. And the question I always ask, what would it take to outcreate this reality? What if we didn't have to buy the everybody's point of view? And actually, I would always do, um, the 5/9/11/14/19/20,
Yeah.
the yeah, the fracking of the techie reality that worked a lot because we had a lot of crisis in the country during the lockdown as well. So that worked. And believe it or not, the mantra, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory every day, no matter what. Because it's already in me. Like no matter what's happening there, I'm not there. Like I can deal with it with ease. I can deal with it with joy. I can choose to actually go into this reality and like, oh, commiserate with everybody. But no, or even like whatever's going on, I would go whatever I'm a contribution. So that's also what I've always been as a person. Like I lived in many countries before as a teacher, as a global educator, as a humanitarian. So it's for me, it's almost like innate just to be a contribution. How can I contribute to people? So that's something that
And
it's never about the money.
and the
The money follows joy, right? So it's
yeah.
yeah.
And I would say, and the land as well, because the way you spoke about that and how beautiful Lebanon is, etc. So, I mean, what a gift that there is all this happening around you. And I know, I mean, so many people would usually run away from something. run a million miles. Like you are actually lucky because you have the possibility that you can go live in other places with ease, considering you are Canadian,
True.
etc. But you chose to stay there. So I love that you are, and I think you're a steward of the earth as well, of waking people up for that. And what if we could be more of that on the planet, like all of us? Could be more of that on the planet, no matter what is happening around us, like no matter what it looks like. I mean, there's so many things at the moment with, that's why I was interested about when the banks took all the money, because I think US just released yesterday the Fed Now, and that's moving towards this like cashless universe, etc., where it's all digitized and they know where you are and blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. And every time I look at that, and because I'm on Twitter a lot, and that's where I get a lot of news. I sort of, because I think it's so diversified rather than watching CNN or BBC, and but I think it's really important to take the piece that is light for you and not buy all the lies. Like, I don't trust anyone anymore and I don't trust
Yeah.
anything anymore. It's like looking at what's actually true for me and what am I going to choose? Like, what future am I aware of and what action can I take today in order to create a
Mhm.
different future? So I love that you are still there and facilitating classes and tapping people on the shoulder and waking them up and saying, hey, there is a different possibility here. Like you said, even the mantra of access, all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. It's like you say that 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night, or be incredibly OCD like me and just say it over and over and over again. I'll do something like get a massage and I'll just like, say the mantra over and over again. But it's like, it's about, like Junaline said, it's about the ability you have to outcreate this reality. It's not about going against this reality. It's not about destroying this reality.
Mhm.
It's about working with it, but soaring above it and
Yeah.
outcreating. Like, we all have the ability to create. What if you outcreated yourself today with your choices? And it's like, I'm going to ask you, Junaline, what does outcreate look like for you?
Yeah. What does outcreate? It's like actually not buying into the drama and trauma of whatever is going on. It's like I am choosing something greater. And whatever greater that may mean for me and what it look like or feel like or smell like, it's like what else is possible here. This is another question. Really, the beautiful, what we call in basic access tools, they are magical and they work and they change my perception of life every day. It's like what else is possible I haven't thought of, what else is possible we could create here. And I am so blessed actually that my husband is also in the same energy wavelength as me, that even though he's Lebanese, he's not like going to like leave Lebanon like most Lebanese have done. Or even, like I actually, my sister-in-law is Muna Musi too. Yeah, I don't know if you know her. She's my sister-in-law, and we all like have this energy, and we actually like we always share the energy of access tools, and like we live it. So it's very obvious that that we don't function from what's going on. Everybody's talking about the situation wherever I go, from the hairdresser to the gasoline station to the restaurant. Everybody's talking about the money, and we're like, okay, we're just, like, can we talk about something else? Can we create something different here? you know
Yeah.
um and it's really funny because it's just asking this kind of questions, like, can we create something different? Can we do something
Mm.
different that would change a different future for us, a different future for your children, a different future for the country or for the world? What can we create here? And creation means it's just this, even creation of a different point of view is a creation. It's like a different way of looking at life. Can we just change that? You know
Yeah.
that you have a choice, right? Like I would say that to people, like, that you can choose something different. Not this, not that, but something else. And I've always, without
So do
knowing
people,
Access before, I've always
yeah.
led my life like that.
How did you come across Access? Where did you discover Access?
Oh, very interesting. Yeah, actually, so I've been a teacher, I've been a life coach, and I've been a theta healing instructor at one point. It's another modality. And one of
Mm.
the CFs now, or I don't know if she's still a CF, she talked about the 32 points on the head in
Mm-hmm.
one of our coaching group. I was like, wow, 32 points in the head. That's all I've heard.
Right.
I want to learn the 32 points in the head. Yes. And there was nobody doing that in Lebanon in 2012, like when I moved here. So I was like
Yeah.
searching high and low, and then I found Dr. Casey Crisp in France.
So did you go to
And my
France
husband is
to a
also a life
class?
coach. Yes, yes. Yes, because I was interested. I was like, I want what is going on. No, actually, before that, I
Yeah.
had a session. Sorry, I'm going back. I had one session in Canada. I wanted to see what these 32 points. So I had a private session. Somebody came over to my house and run my bars, and I fell asleep. And I said, "Oh, that's all." Just I asked what it's like. I just fell asleep. Is that the change? What that I paid you for? And she's like, yes, and just see what happens. And she's like, okay, and didn't think anything about it. All right, okay, I got a session, came back to Lebanon, but something started changing. My energy was starting to change, and my husband was the first one who noticed, like, you are different. You are like stepping up more. You're becoming more confident. You're like just something about you. It's like
Mm.
something opened up. And also I was like starting to take some classes of Gary at the time, like telecalls, back in the day, telecalls,
Yeah.
and learning all the tools. And as a coach, I really like the questions that we have in Access. They're just beautiful. The questions, especially how we ask questions in Access, is the energy of it was really life changing. So I started doing that, and then got curious. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna study this Access bars. So I went to France. I found Dr. Casey there, and my husband came also because he's very curious about the change that he saw in me. He came with me, learned the bars, and Dr. Casey, thank God, she said, "Would you like to be the facilitators for Lebanon? Nobody's doing that yet there in the Middle East. Would you like to be the bars facilitators in Lebanon?" This was in 2013. She invited us to be.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay,
Wow.
without thinking about it,
Yeah.
without having a
Yeah.
point of view, we're like, just okay. So she sent us to Paris to take to another to other facilitators, French facilitators, and of course my husband also speaks French. In Lebanon they
Yeah.
speak French and Arabic. So we took all three and became bars facilitators, and then came back to Lebanon, and I still didn't do anything about it for six
I love
months.
that.
I was like, what is the bars? I had a point of view about it. I'm like, I wanted it to make it perfect. I was like, I don't know how to put this. I don't know where to put my hand. I'm not doing this. And then one of my, but yet I started talking about it on Facebook. Oh, I learned this thing called Access Bars. And one of my clients said, do you want to teach that? Because you learned it. Do you want to teach it?
Mm.
And that invitation of that client and also another client, that's when we started. Me and my husband taught the first Access Bars in Lebanon in 2013, and the rest is history.
That is so amazing. Thank you so
And
much. I love that story.
yes,
And I just want to
yes,
mention
and
just
and we didn't.
access. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Junaline?
And then we just didn't. No, I just said that, and then I haven't stopped since then. And then
Ah, you
we
haven't
just
stopped.
continued.
Yes, good. I'm glad you haven't stopped because the whole Middle East has expanded so much with access as well. So if you're
I
listening to this
know,
and you do
I
not
know.
know what bars are, it's access consciousness bars, which has 32 different points on the head. And you just touch them like really lightly. The best way I can describe it is it's like getting a computer and just pressing delete for all of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of all these different areas in your life, like body, sexuality, control, money, awareness, hopes and dreams, healing, sadness, joy, aging. Like there's a whole lot of different bars that you touch. And you do just lie there and receive, which is interesting because so often when I get my bars run, I do go to sleep or I just like pass out. I call it like the bars sleep because you can hear stuff, but you've just like, it's just like, boom, you're out. And I love it. Absolutely love it. But it like, I think Gary said one time, you know, the best thing that can happen with bars is your whole life can change. The worst thing that can happen is you feel like you got a good massage.
Yeah.
And I too, I woke up, I really wasn't that interested in bars to begin with. I was very much interested in the processing for access. Um, but I woke
Yeah.
up, I went to this guy's place and I, had a little mini session of bars and a little intro of Access. And I woke up the next day and I had no idea what the hell had just happened. Like I was like, what the hell? I don't even know what happened. There was nothing I could logitize on it. But I remember waking up in the morning and I sat up in bed and I went, wow, okay, something's different. Because usually I would have woken up and I was very like, right, wake up, go to the gym, do this, da, 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 da. Like it was like I had this schedule that I had to stick to. And if I didn't stick to the schedule, then I would judge myself and I was wrong. And I noticed I woke up and I was still in bed and it was like 30 minutes later than when I would usually get up. And I was still sitting there just going, wow, what just happened? And I could just perceive like everything that I was holding as stuck starting to unravel. That's the best way I can describe it. And then I just started living my life as everything was unraveling. And now I get it. I was having more of me. I was becoming more of me, which I get the way you described that and what your husband noticed too, is you becoming more of you. And for me, that's what bars is. I don't know what I would do without bars now. I get my bars run quite a few times during the week if I can, and for quite a few hours as well. It's like, one of my favorite things. So, and now the Middle East is huge. We've got, during COVID, we increased so much in the Middle East as well. Like we were doing so many classes online, which we're still doing classes online. And yet we have a lot of classes live, which I love seeing the bodies and having the bodies in the room too. But Middle East definitely increased during that period. It was one of the gifts, I would say. I call it the gifts of COVID because there were so many different things that showed up that might not have shown up if that wasn't, if that wasn't around. So, yeah. I just want to add one more thing too. With the questions that Junaline is talking about too, we have, and if you've been listening to my podcast, you'll know what I'm talking about, but we have Access Consciousness Clearing Statement, and you can go find out about that on theclearingstatement.com, which will be in the show notes below as well, so don't forget to subscribe. And it's got the description from myself and Dr. Dane here talking about how to use the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. But a lot of the times when you ask questions, as Junaline is talking about, it's like, what can I be different today? I mean, even just asking that question, like what you said, and it's like, what can I be different today? And you can put the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement at the end. It's like everything that doesn't allow me to be everything I can be today, destroy and uncreate it, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. And it's like friggin' magic. So, Junaline, what are some of your top favorite questions that you like to ask?
In the morning, who am I today and what great and grand adventures await me today? It's on my iPhone. It's on my wall.
I love it.
This question, I love it so much. And actually, one of the first questions I learned in Access, I think it was through Right Voice for You. Who am I today and what great and grand adventures? Or how can I be greater today than I was yesterday? Any of these two questions, because it brings me to the present, and it brings me to the energy of being anew today, not who I was yesterday or 10 years ago, or who I will be even 10 seconds from now. It's like, how can I function today? And that's these two are my favorite questions that I would say. And I always impart these questions to like clients, students, or whoever I come across with, like just ask this question. How can you be greater today than you were yesterday? And what great and grand adventures await you today? Because what if every day, like you said, and like I heard from you, what if life it's an adventure of living, right? What if it's every day can be an adventure?
So who am I today and what grand and glorious adventures can I have? I love that. And another one of the tools I just want to add there, because you briefly mentioned it, is the 10 seconds, choosing in 10-second increments. And if you're, listening to this and you know that and you go, it's one of those tools you always remember, because I'm very good at like, waking up and I've got a bunch of things on, and then like as I'm making coffee or something, I'll be like, okay, and then this, and then I go, Simone, stop. 10-second increments. Okay, what would you like to choose right now? Instead of trying to plan out my day. I mean, of course, I've got classes and podcasts and things like that. But instead of trying to plan everything out, it's like, it's for me, it instills this relaxation in my world that it's like, okay, I can do all of those things or none of those things. And it's just this relaxation. Like today, after I finished a class this morning, I thought I was going to go to the gym straight away and I didn't. I ended up cooking and I cooked a whole bunch of stuff in the kitchen because it was so relaxing for me. And then I went for a walk later instead of going to the gym. And then I went to the beach for a swim. It was just like, but that 10-second increments, because a lot of the times if you try and work out your day, you won't listen to the whispers of consciousness, the whispers of the universe that are like, hey, come to the beach for a swim, because you've decided that you have to do X, Y, Z. It's like, so functioning in 10-second increments as well is one of my favorite tools. So Junaline, where can people find you? Like, do you have a website, Access Consciousness site, Instagram handle, etc.?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's www.junaline.com. That's
nice
my
and
website,
easy.
and also the access. Yes, it's like a one-name moniker, like Madonna and Beyonce, right? Easy.
Yes,
I like ease and
Madonna and
easy.
Beyonce. I like it. Junaline. That's it, girl. You know it.
Yeah, it's just ease. It's just ease. Yeah, and it's just ease for everybody. And also I'm on the Access Consciousness website as well. You can find me there under Junaline Banez-Moussi. 2 names, yes, so that's longer, but yes, I can find me there. On Instagram also at Life Inspired Junaline. Yeah, and
Well, we will
I just wanted to add, actually, Life Inspired. Yeah, we had this center in Lebanon teaching just Access Consciousness classes at one point.
And what's the center called?
Yeah, just before. Life Inspired.
Life Inspired. Nice. I like that. Well, one day maybe I'll get to Lebanon. So that would be. I've never been there.
Yes, you're welcome. You are so welcome.
Thank you. And I just really want to say thank you so much for everything that you're being in the world, Junaline. That's why I wanted to invite you on here. Because like I said at the beginning, so many people, complain about something and they're making stuff relevant that doesn't have to be relevant. There is, like, whatever is going on in your life, if you're listening to this, it's like, what if you could have a look at what you are trying to make relevant and just ask, if I wasn't making this relevant, what else could I choose? Like, what else is available for me? Yeah. Because you can always outcreate, no matter what is going on around you. You can always outcreate. You can choose joy. You can choose happiness. You can choose something different today, but it's your choice. It's your choice. You have to choose it. So, Junaline, is there anything else that you would like to leave the listeners with today?
Well, just whatever we've talked about here, actually, like, I hope that it's been a contribution to all of you, all the questions, all the energy that we've exchanged here. Yeah, and just really, the title of this is "Do Not Stop Creating." Please don't stop creating, because life is all about creation, and you are a creator of magnitude. You can create. You can choose always to create whatever that is for your life. So that would be my invitation.
Thank you.
Just don't stop creating.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Don't forget, we've got our own Instagram at the as well, Choice, Change, and Action. So go follow us on there. You can slide into our DMs, and it's like, let us know what it is that you're after, what other topics you'd like me to be talking about on Choice, Change, and Action. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. You get all the show notes. We're on YouTube, all of that sort of stuff. So thank you so much for being here, for listening and coming and playing with us. And thank you again, Junaline. Have a wonderful, wonderful day in Beirut, Lebanon today.
Thank you, Simone. Thank you, Simone. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button on your favorite listening platform to get notified of new episodes. We read all the reviews, so if there's any topic you would like to hear about, let us know. If you'd like to know more about the tools, information, and classes mentioned in the podcast, head on over to SimoneMilasas.com and follow me on Instagram at Simone Milasas, or the podcast has its very own link on Instagram at Choice, Change, and Action. Don't forget, you can download the show notes. And lastly, have way too much fun today.